So hi everyone, we're going to start in a few minutes.
Yeah, I believe it's just 1 minute. Let's make sure that everyone is joining and we'll start. So let's start. Thank you for joining to this exciting webinar on the 5 testing skills you must acquire to become a superstar tester. I'm Maytal, the head of community at TestProject, and with me, we have an expert you all know, Pooja Shah. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Mittal.
A lead automation and open source enthusiast, Pooja loves brainstorming and implementing cool ideas to improve product quality. Having a blend of dev and QA mindset, she strives to bridge the gap between all teams to assure the best results. And in our session today, Pooja will give you a special view into her personal bag of tricks and favorite testing tools to learn. And by the end of the event, you will all receive to your email, 1, a recording of the webinar that we'll upload to our YouTube channel, so stay tuned and subscribe. 2, an awesome participation badge for those of you that will attend the entire session, when we'll also announce our challenge winner. So before we'll start, please make sure to ask any question you might have only in the Q&A section, and we will make sure to address as many of them at the end. And without further ado, Pooja, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mittal. Thanks, TestProject and Karen, for actually bringing all of us together here. I'm so glad to see like 23 people now, and it from different geographies. It's so exciting to meet all of you. So I have just turned on my camera, just say quickly hi to you, and then I'll turn it off as we progress with the talk today. The few things of importance here is there is a Q&A section. So please, as we keep going towards the talk, maybe start posting your queries there, which we can take it up for the end of the session. So I just want to make sure that you are able to see my screen and listen to my voice properly. So if there is something blocking to you, maybe you can write in chat and we can get it resolved. So yeah, begin with. So today's talk is very special for me because it has been crafted by taking inputs from all of you. So if this talk goes well, the credit goes to all of you. And if it doesn't, then you know it. Just kidding. We are going to learn a lot of things and with absolute fun today. So before we jump in, here is a quick view into my career Mittal has talked about. I'm just going to talk about non-tech stuff, which is when I'm not in front of the computer, I'm eating a lot of food, and then I'm doing yoga and dance to just compensate with the belly fat. Here, I'm just keeping the screen up so you can note about my information to get in touch with me later on, and if you feel free to share your feedback on my channels. So here we begin with, these are the core things which we are going to learn from the session, which will also include things like DevOps and security testing. So let's dive in. Fun time. So like I promised that we are going to have lots of fun, and why not begin with the fun part? So here is the clip from the Martian movie, which most of us would have watched. Here is a quick glance on it.
But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, none of this matters anyway.
We've got an incoming message.
My God. Mark Walker's still alive. In your face, Neil Armstrong. Okay, so let's do the math. I have enough food to last for 50 days.
He's going to starve to death long before we can help him.
So I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
He's 50 million miles away from home. He's totally alone. What the hell is he thinking right now?
I am the greatest botanist on this planet. I know how to save my wife.
But we need the Hermes crew.
We either have a high chance of killing one or a low chance of killing six. We're not risking their lives. It's bigger than one person.
No. So.
NASA rejected the mission.
So if we do this,
We're talking mutiny. If anything goes wrong, we die.
you realize how crazy this is? We got no other option.
What happens? Tell the world. Tell my family. Never stop fighting.
All right. So for the people who could not get the audio but could listen, could visualize, this was about a thrilling story of an astronaut who got stuck in Mars without, obviously, no food, no water, and he doesn't know how to communicate back to Earth to come back. So that's where this movie is very interesting, and also it teaches a lot of qualities to us. So here I'm going to list some qualities which we as tester to actually inherit in ourselves, which I inherited for myself, and I'm going to share how we can relate them with our work and actually improve on it. The first one is the curiosity. I hope I'm audible now and everybody's listening to me. The first thing is the curiosity. The curiosity took Mark Watney to the space and Mars. In same way, for us as testers, we take pride in most curious people because we want to know why things work and why they don't work, right? So we as testers, sometimes nowadays we are so much stuck in going by the book that I feel that we are not using our curiosity to full potential. So in subsequent examples, I'm going to show like how actually we can put our curiosity, our inner child, always live and get best benefits out of it. Next is critical thinking. So the thinking is something which we all think about. Like I'm not talking about I'm not talking about that you feel that, okay, this bug is found and it is not working and you keep thinking and pondering over it. No, critical thinking is something you think beyond even being in panic mode. We all have noticed that we have released deadlines and we want to actually deliver and find the bugs and get it fixed, right? So critical thinking comes into play when you are in the situation wherein you can still think of problem solving and solutions, just like the astronaut was able to think, okay, he has to send message back to the Earth and also be able to survive for those many years. So he was thinking always, and same goes with testers. Collaboration. This is the key. So here is what we all talk about and we believe in. We should collaborate, but it pains in my heart always when I get to still hear that there are some companies and some cultures which says that testers should sit in the silos and separately. They should not be talking to developers, otherwise they will get biased. No, please stop doing it. And whose manager is not listening, please show them this talk. We got to collaborate. We got to collaborate with our developers, our product managers, business analysts, and all the stakeholders of the product. Why? We will get to know more in detail, but for now, just think like, okay, if we are able to collaborate and communicate properly with our teams, we get to learn a lot in return, and they become our friends, and that's how we can get the bugs faster solved. So just imagine the astronaut was stuck and he doesn't know to even collaborate and communicate with others, but they devised ways to find and communicate with each other. So we also got to find that momentum. Next, continuous learning. So we all agree, I don't think anybody will have like any doubt about learning, but we as testers, we are, sometimes I get, here's a very funny story, like I get to hear whenever I talk about continuous learning, testers are like, yes, Pooja, we learned testing, then we learned Java, then C# and then Python, and then JavaScript and Selenium and automation. We learned lots of things. I totally relate with you. But what I'm trying to say you is learning is not about learning so many things. Learning is about learning for solving one particular problem. So we are going to also understand in subsequent examples, like how to select that what you should learn and how to put that learning into work. Next, creativity. So this is very underrated stuff that we believe that we are conditioned to believe actually that creativity is for only something like designers. No, creativity is for all. When we were a child, we were creative, curious by default, and then we become critical thinker and collaborative and stuff like that. So how can we still be creative and make our work fun? This is so important, to make work fun. For example, the astronaut was not knowing that if it was ever possible to develop water in the Mars, and he did it. So that's where his creativity, curiosity, and problem solving come into picture. So same way as tester, we can do it. Let's now go and see the examples, like how you can actually do it. So here is an example of an Excel sheet you all see. So imagine, let's say I have 10 seconds and I want to know that what is the release status. Like, is the red colored bugs are actually so much critical that we cannot release, or there is something can we do about it? What would be your answers? Okay, for me, I would say 10 seconds are not enough. Really not enough, because I need to calculate, I need to read through all the content and then make the traceability, find the most critical areas, and then say that, okay, release is good to go or not. So how can we actually improvise in this process? We can use something like creative tooling called mind mapping. This is a technique to actually put your words into your visual representation. So in the left side, you see the diagram. It's the visual tree of everything. So just imagine you have a test case information here, and then you create nodes of the different test cases and information like that. So let's just see the example directly. So here is the example for something which still I do not get what it is. Now let's see the example here. If this blows your mind, and if you can tell in 5 seconds that, okay, this release cannot be taken live because it breaks the save feature, and save feature is used here and here, 2 places, so its impact area is even more. So even if the bug comes as a fix and you have to test as a patch before going live, then also you can also use this for giving the estimates that this has more impact area, save is at 2 places and it broke here, so I need to test it 2 places. So it not only helps you to represent information in more nicer way, to remember them nicer way, to understand nicer way, also to estimate the right efforts, and you can show it to your product managers, your stakeholders. They will also understand it fastly rather than giving them sheets. And then I believe that most of us maybe have moved away from sheets to some tool, but those tools also you have to search through to find that. A diagram speaks more than words, right? Now you will be also like my mind map tool also gives a way to actually do relationship. So for example, the save is twice here. You can say relationship is duplicate. It means if some change happens here, I need to test this also. So visual representation is completely up to you, but the tool you can use, like there are many, but Xmind is one which comes for free. So we have used that, and there is another called Coggle that we also have used that. So this is just to showcase that at my workplace, MoEngage, we are actually doing it. So you see these many lines, they are for different features, and each feature wise there is information, and then we have tick marks, yes, no, things like that. And these tools can also provide you to filter based on the number of failures, and you can find immediately in an instant that this is not working. Yeah, isn't it cool? Next, so we understood that we can be creative, we can be curious, is something which we still need to learn. And that is what makes us true detectives. We are actually detectives, but we don't realize it. Why? Because most of us are stuck in finding that bug. How about finding the root cause of the bug as well? So how can we do that? Now, you might have questions like, okay, why should we do that? That's developer's job. I'll answer back to that question in probably in Q&A. For now, let's believe that we should be doing it, and then we understand. I hope I will be able to answer in the subsequent slides. So how can we actually debug? So here is example of DevTools. If you're testing in web browser, you always have the access to the DevTools of that browser. So in this case, I'm taking example from Chrome. So you have console, network, and your thinking. So how it goes? So here is an example wherein this is a live example wherein I'm trying to search some string for which a map is supposed to be loaded down. Now, traditionally, what will I do? It is not coming. I will go and just post this bug that map is not loading. And what developer would say probably that you might have sent a screenshot. Developer will send a screenshot back that it is working for me, isn't it? So how can you improvise on this process? You just open, right click, say inspect, and open your console. This is a DevTools, one of the DevTools, and then you see the error logs. So you take this screenshot. This also gives the line number if you see here. And that is where developer will get more confidence on the bug that, yeah, this is the valid bug. It happened at some point of time in some machine, and they can go and debug and fix it. So what this process helps two ways. One is we are more confident about the bug, that it was not something just random internet issue or something. It was something in the functionality. And then giving this kind of information, developers are actually triggered to solve them, intimidated to solve them, because they also feel that they should not be leaving any bug, right? So it helps you become their friends. So next, we all love shopping, right? So shopping website testing, like e-commerce testing, is considered to be very complex because there are so many permutations and combinations. So this is one of the examples where we want to test that if I add some item to cart, it should be added into my cart, and my testing requires me to just test that how many items my added to cart feature can take, if my goal is this. So how can we accelerate this testing? One way is actually you go and from UI you do it. Second way is explore in your DevTools network panel. So I found this API and I'm trying to understand this. This is my curiosity bringing me to this, and I'm trying to explore this API, and I find that there is nothing very very special about it. It is one API with some parameters, with some information. And once I actually replay this, so if I redo this API and see what happens, so I should be curious to see that what happens, and I am going to refresh the page. So remember, I did not do any action on the UI. I just refreshed the page, and 2 items of that dress is added here, right? So once I get to this, what my second thought should be, okay, if my whole goal is to test that how many items that added to cart feature can take, why should I go and on UI and do those actions multiple times? Or even why should I just do the UI automation for that? I can copy that, and this is, I'm copying it into Postman and going to trigger as an API call. I can now think beyond that. Okay, I can hit it manually, or in Postman, I can put it into runner and hit it 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, and see, open my thought process to do even performance testing, not just the functional testing that, okay, I want to test that after 10 items, it should say that no more items can be added to cart, let's say. If it was about, basically this application was about can actually sell only 10 items at a time. Just imagine. So what did we learn? We learned that once we start exploring, being curious, we start learning the internals inside, and we also understand that how to understand the APIs. So for some people, APIs might feel like something very, very different or very unknown thing. For now, in this example, we just saw that on your trigger action, on your click action from UI, something happened in the background that we can see from the console. So once you start seeing that, you will start getting habituated to seeing APIs. It's just a backdoor, that's all. And then you will be able to make wiser decisions for bringing for automation framework also. If you want to automate that, okay, I should do this in API style and this in UI style, and combination of that actually will bring ROI to your product rather than trying to automate everything in the UI. Here is another example of, this is very interesting example actually. So this example shows that there is a page. So you see this page, which is listing some APIs results. So again, being curious, I will open the DevTools. I'll go to my network tab and see what request it is making. So if I hit the single user, it is making one call to user number 2, and whatever information is in the background, that's the API response. So API is nothing but a backdoor call which returns something which UI can display it back on the UI. Correct. So now if my idea is to test how my application behaves when this API goes down. So single user is an API, list user is an API. I'm going to say that, okay, go block my request. I blocked it. Now let's try to click on single user again and see what happens. So list user is working, single user is not working, right? So here, important thing to learn is, one, that I am not limited by the fact that what if I'm testing my application which is dependent on other services, and if they go down, how do I test that? I can actually block those requests and see how my application behaves. This is so much important for people who are testing mobile apps. So mobile apps works completely fine, and you must be like struggling solving the customer bugs and trying to reproduce that. Okay, how this crash happened? I have tested everything before going live. That crash happened because dependent service went down, or it started giving wrong results. So this was one of the snippet to show you like how you can think out of the box and simulate all those behaviors before going live. And also it gives you a way to understand difference between external calls and your application. And some examples can be how to relate this example with your work is, see if your application has product listing, maps, weather, and then ask your product managers or your engineering managers that, okay, these are our own or these are dependent service. And then you will be able to take those calls very easily. And we are going to learn about this blocking thing again in the next slides, how to go even beyond and do more testing. Next example. So we learned that, okay, we learned about debugging, exploring. How about fixing the bug? So here is an example. So this example, we saw that 1 + 1 shows 11. So what should my curious nature tell that? Okay, this looks like probably a simple small mistake, but the outcome is very bad. This can actually totally go, if it was happening on payment, it could actually put the product into losses. So how can we solve that? So if you just get to understand that this looks like a concatenation rather than adding, what you can do is you can go to your DevTools again and go to sources and check the JavaScript for it. So here you see that we understood that, okay, it was a concatenation. How can we convert? So just search that, okay, how to convert string to integer. So parseInt does that. So when I did that, as soon as the result is reflected here. Right. So now instead of just going that, okay, you are returning 1 + 1 = 11, and you are investing so much time creating that bug into Jira and giving the browser information and things like that to reproduce. If you just go with that, it is 1 minute fix. So this is making you more valuable when you go with the more in the relevant information to get the bugs fixed. And it also gives you confidence that, okay, yeah, I don't need to waste time to check this on Safari also, on Chrome or Firefox or Windows also. You can you can get information out of the clutter once you start debugging. Then another example that you can do so much with DevTools. These were the top ones. You can also do, when you are doing functional testing, just click on this left side. You see that mobile icon. You can convert and check for the responsiveness. You can also do network level check. You can say that, okay, my network is 2G, 3G, how my application will behave. And there is so much you can do, but these are the most important examples you should be looking at. So we learned about being creative. We learned about thinking debugging, but the core principles remains always core, which is about learn and then apply. So how to apply is the question. So how can you make something implemented always? My answer is make it easy and fun. So for example, we all learned about testing technique called boundary value analysis, BVA. My God, in initial years of my career, I was literally scared by these kind of words and these kind of definitions, because they don't feel like I remember them all the time. So how to put them into implementation? So here is very nice phrase called Goldilocks rule: too big, too small, and just right. So how to see this example? So any input field I see, I'm going to put boundary value analysis, but I'm not going to remember it that way. I'm going to remember it the way I remember is I'm always going to try small input, big input, and right input. So this is to check palindrome, ABA 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to try a big input, huge input. And the moment I do that, I immediately find the bug. So my output is going out of the screen. I immediately know that this is a bug. And I can retain this information, and always when I test, I will apply. And anybody I can teach easily. Now to try different combinations, different boundary values, different kind of testing, I recommend this tool Bug Magnet. It is on Chrome and again freely available. You can utilize, keep it handy, right click, and you get the test data you want to use directly. Moving next. This is also an important technique called command line. But as testers, somehow we are not, we are so much used to seeing the UI, and we are like fascinated by the beautiful UX and stuff like that. We don't pay much attention to it. So even I was like, in the beginning of my career, I was afraid of Linux and things like that. But then slowly I understood the value of it. And I also have kind of written an open book. It is freely available. You can just Google and search Gitbook Pooja Shah Linux. You will find it. The most important topic, like how much is enough or how much is useful for our testing journeys. So I will recommend you to go to introductions and look for processes and logs filtering. These are very, very important things, and these are very simple, and these are my notes, not like lengthy books. You just have notes and you can directly utilize like cheat sheet. So to give you an analogy why we should be learning them, here is an example. So in this is the application I have hosted on my machine, and it lets you add a post. So I have added a post. Let me go edit and delete it. Something looks wrong. It did not get deleted. I try to delete again. No, it doesn't work. So I'll go to console, network, and trying to see if something went wrong. Trying to see response, no response came, failed to load. Now, what would be your idea? We should be knowing by now that, okay, it doesn't look a front-end bug. Can it be a back-end bug? So there is a simple command called tail. Tail, just like name, it is like last lines of a log file. I'll ask my developer, like where do you store the log? Get the access there. And this will give me complete information. Like you see the screenshot here, that it will give me the line number also from where the bug is coming from. So once I understand this and I give the faith to my developer that I will not screw up your machine, then they are going to give you all those accesses which makes you super person in debugging. And for them, you are debugging, it means that they are going to love you and listen to you all the time, right? So to just summarize this, that debugging and curiosity together and collaboration together basically makes you stand out in the people you have, and then and also gets your bugs faster done, so you don't have that last moment anxiety, okay, I need to retest this and that and that. So early feedback you can give faster. And here is just a glimpse of my team, that we are all using this kind of techniques, and this is kind of built in our DNA. And we went to another external event called Testathon, where we actually won at so many awards. So yeah, if you implement these techniques in your day-to-day work, they are going to be like valued at your workplace and outside. Next, knowing your ecosystem. So for benefit of time, I'm not going into detail of everything, but I'm going to show one very interesting example I came across, which will showcase the power of knowing these. So once we understand, once we get understanding of the command line Linux stuff, we also try to understand. So how, I'll just tell you my trips, how I understand IP, domain, VPN, remote machines, SSL, everything listed here is by overhearing my teams. I sit with my teams, and they talk about this stuff whole day, like, because my deployment failed because of this, and I get to listen to them, and then I go search, read about it, and I improve upon them. So here is what I have found interestingly. This is one of the examples from my post on LinkedIn, which I'm editing. So you see, I'm trying edit one. Let me refresh the page. What happens? Let me edit it to edit 2 now and save again. Refresh the page. Edit 2, refresh it again. Edit 2, refresh it one more time. Edit 1. Damn, what happened? So if I'm testing LinkedIn, edit 2 comes back. So if I'm testing LinkedIn, what would be my say in here that why this bug would be? Is this a functional bug? How do I categorize it? If a customer reports this bug, how do I explain them, or how do I even convince myself that I had done enough testing? And this is not a functional bug or something else. So to my understanding, there is the concept called load balancing and caching. So what happens is, in this bug is not actually functional bug. This is about infra management and internally to site reliability. So here in this example, you see that you are making call to LinkedIn, edit API, and this doesn't connect to one single machine. Why? Because LinkedIn cannot serve billions of customers hitting the edit API call by having one server. So what they do is they have range of servers, and they put load balancer in between, which will go and just make calls to different servers. So what happened here is probably, most likely, that first when I did edit 1, it went and sit into this server number 1, first server, and second time when I did, probably it went in second. And there is a time interval wherein this both will sync. Since I hit it immediately, the sync did not happen. So I got the previous cached result on server 2 or server 1. And that's why it didn't work. So now understanding this ecosystem will help you big time by understanding the intermittent bugs. Save time in trying to reproduce production bugs from customers, because they will never occur in your staging, because in staging you are actually testing from the single server. Any company would not maintain the exact replica of production because it is very expensive, right? So this helps you understand, okay, not to test wrong builds or wrong environment. Always do deployments by yourself. A lot of people I see that developers are giving the build and it is completely black box, and we even can't identify if it's the right build or not until entire testing is done, and then we get the route. So understanding this ecosystem helps you answer them by yourself. Next, so the power of open source. So you must have seen me quite active Selenium, APM, and all open source projects. So here is one more test project we have. Most of you know it, but I'm going to show you why something like test project, I believe that it has a long journey to go and is gonna value in your automation a lot. So my most challenge when I do UI automation is actually needing to maintain the driver versions every time. Oh, my Chrome got updated, my test false failed, and my developer is laughing. Yeah, it is your false failure. So how do I deal with that? And second is, how do I maintain my reports? So I love automation, and I have built strong frameworks and reporting tools also. And there are already really good open source tools like Allure reporting as well. But what happens is they are all, you need to integrate one, and then you need to also keep them up into somewhere, probably in Jenkins or somewhere, to see the analytics on top of it. So let's see the examples, and let the example speak for itself. So here is an example. I'm using the test project SDK for Open SDK for Python, and it is going to make call to a e-commerce website, and it is going to run this test. So this is on top of APM and Selenium. So it is exactly doing those same actions. So test has finished. We come to test project reports tab, and it is going to link all the reports. You see, this test reports are maintained by default. And the report you can see here, this report you can download and share it with your stakeholders. You can go in deep dive and see the screenshots. You can also go and check your previous failures. Why did that happen? So this gives you clear picture, and since it is available always, you have a way to analyze them. Okay, is it my false test failures always, or is it actually bugs found? And help you take actions faster. So you can also see the insights in the range, like in last 30 days, how many failed and things like that. It has integration in Java, C#, Python, and the most important point which I look for is it has the community support. Since it's open source, it's community support. So anything you feel that you're stuck by, like, how do I automate CSV? How do I automate PDF? Those plugins are available, and many more to come with the community support. Next, so in automation, we also invest so much time in maintaining our locators. So here is an exciting tool, which is again community driven and free to use, Selectors Hub, which if you see this example, you will notice that I'm not writing my XPath. The moment I start typing in, it automatically finds that. So you tap there and you start, it automatically finds that. So it is finding, in this case, Shadow DOM as well. So this is something new came in UI, and it is able to find them also. And it is going to also tell you that this XPath doesn't work or something, or anything which is not self-understood. So for a new person who wants to learn maintaining the locators very efficiently, this helps a big time. Next, proxies. So proxies is something we're going to understand, but let's understand why we need it. Okay, so here, for example, here we are, and we are testing our product that is dependent on one microservice and external services like email service or something like that. Now, what challenge we face? So you see that when we are testing, we have access to only this. We don't know about this. We don't know about that. It is just hidden inside. We are having the black box here. So what this problem is doing is, this is limiting our exploration to test the dependency failure scenarios. So dependency failures can be like dependency failed completely. In initial beginning of the section, we saw that when we block the request, the dependency is not working. What should happen? So ideally, ideally the dependent web service should not break. And if it breaks, my application should handle by itself. If it is not handling, it's a bug. And also, I would also want to say that what if dependency takes more than desired time, like 1 minute, 2 minutes, what should happen? So I should question my developer. I should basically give them nice questions to work on. So to understand this, there is a concept called proxy. So to understand proxy, again, take very simple example. We all have gone to college or a school, right? And sometimes we don't like to go. And what we do is we say that our friend will do attendance on behalf of us. We all have done probably at some point. Okay, I did not do it, getting recorded. So what that person has done, what your friend has done for you is proxied you. You were not present, but your friend has proxied your attendance there. Same way, servers also can be proxied. So here is a proxy server in between. What it will give is, it will give you ability to control this microservice and probably these also. So let's see example. So there is a tool called Bceptor, and this also has a free plans to do it. We are using it in the free plan. So what it is doing is, I can create my proxy server URL and say that my proxy server URL should point to my actual API endpoint. Once I do that, in the left you see the blog website, which is returning me 100 blog results. Okay, and here we are seeing that this application points to this. So this API, the JSON placeholder API, is actual API which is giving me 100 blog post results. So if I'm a developer, I can go and edit and make the proxy. But as when we are testing, we can't see what developer has done in developer test. So if we want to ensure that what developer has done in the test, in their unit test or API test, we want to see that, we can give them this URL instead of their own URL and see them in the dashboard. Now, how to make use of it? How to make the best out of it? So for example, now I want to test the scenarios like this. What happens? Again, Goldilocks rules. Too big, too small, and just right. So what I want to do here is, I want to test that what if this API, which is returning this 100 blog posts, returns very less amount of them. Let's say 2. And what if it is taking more than 10 seconds? So how my application should behave? It should not break. That's my goal. If it breaks, that is also my goal. I want to report the bug, right? So I'm going to create here and trigger it. So you can notice that this is taking time, and it is going to return the response. So yeah, 2 blocks. So you got to control the third-party API, which my application is using. So in this case, we did not get any bug. Let's see another example where we will encounter the bug. So this same application, I'm going to say create mock, and this time I'm going to fail it. So this is similar to like blocking your API, which we did initially. And we are going to say that, okay, block it. Now what happens? So I'm just fast forwarding it. So you created a rule and added a delay. It fails. And damn, I need to stop here. This is a bug we have found. So now we can like proudly say that, okay, this application works now, right now, fine. But tomorrow when the dependent blog API, which we are using, it fails, then my application is crashing, completely crashing. So people in mobile testing world, they must be doing this to ensure that their app never crashes. So my application, I can suggest my developer that always like try to handle this situation and say that no blog post found or blog server is not working. So instead of just filing bug or even just debugging, start suggesting your developers these things are possible in future, and how can we actually save ourselves from them. Next, the most awaited one. This topic is also underrated and overrated. We are somehow conditioned to think that, okay, this is something very much super special brainies job. It's true and false, because it's not super person's brain's job, but yeah, if you are smart, you can do a lot of good security testing or hacking. So let's see how can we learn that and how can we benefit our product by it. So this is an example where my curiosity will make me do everything. So I have searched for testing here, test, and the moment we do this, my first approach should be open, inspect, and see that this is in bold. How did it come in bold? My curiosity should bring me there. Okay, I see this is showing bold, and probably if this is maybe taking HTML inside. So let me try another HTML to see it. So I'm saying that, okay, use the header tag and see if it works. Yeah, it looks like working. So it means I'm getting more confident that this input fields allow an HTML to be inserted. So what more can I do? I can try more tags and see if it is working, and then actually get excited about trying more things like JavaScript as well, because it is allowing all the tags. So as an application for my product, any input field, I will do boundary value analysis for normal user type, and then hacker user type also is I'm going to see by default, try the tags, HTML tags, and see if I can exploit it. So this is an example of script tag, and I'm trying, and it's going to actuate on my machine. Yeah, right? So now you will be like, okay, this happened only on my system. How can it be attacked? So this example was to show you, get you into the mood that this is how we can think about hacking and then preventing the hack for us. Okay, so here is an extended example of that. So we saw that, and we are now confident that, okay, let's try the HTML tags here. And this application actually, we are going to save the comment, and it is getting stored in the database. So once we do that and we say post comment, let's see what happens. So do you think that it is going to work? So I'm going to click blog. Yes, it worked. It is supposed to come in normal case letters and not colored, and it came like a heading. So again, I will go inspect and try and think more. What could I do possibly? So if imagine this is your website and hacker has come and inserted this tag into yours. Now a hacker can do much more here. For example, they can insert a script tag to even say that, okay, redirect all my people to somewhere else. So for example, just imagine you are cleartip.com, and somebody has injected in this script in their web page. There is a possibility that anybody comes to cleartip.com will be basically, example here, will be directly taken to hacker's website. So this is an example which we are trying to say that, okay, change my script to google.com. And when I say post, it should be posting there. Go to blog. So observe here clearly. We go to blog and see. So nobody can actually access the your website at all. So cleartip.com will be always redirected to, let's say, expedia.com or makemytrip.com. So this is how hackers can do if we do not prevent it. So as testers, what my duty lies in actually to tell that, okay, we should not be allowing these tags to be inserted because they are dangerous and they can be harming. So I have more examples, but for benefit of time, I'll skip them. And then important thing is to learn here is that security is not something one person job. We all can do it, and benefit for us is learning something new, interesting, and also helping becoming our product stronger, and that will add value to your work as well, and your career as well. So we are moving towards the closing, and I would like to say this, that we learned a lot of tools and techniques here, but I would recommend never to overrun by the tools. Try to figure out which tool works best for you and for your need. And being open source lover, I would always recommend try open source tools more, and then see if something works and it requires more thinking, more usage, just go for it. Then here comes the, this is the important thing which I want to talk about. It's never about tool, but more about your skills to implement them, use them, and put into like your career. Maybe probably take a printout of this screen and put it in front of you and think that on a regular basis in all your work, are you doing all of these things in some way? It's not it's not possible that you do one thing awesomely and other things lesser. No, try to put all of these things in some way, and that is how you become the super tester with the right tools and right techniques utilized. So yeah, I like to thank all of you first to listen till now, and special thanks to Prashant, is my colleague and come friend, and you can follow him here. He helped me a lot to craft and test this talk. Test project community for bringing all of us together for this talk, and these are the pictures we have taken from. I don't want to be caught by the copyright police. And I like to end with this, so you can capture the information here to get in touch. Keep learning, stay humble. That's what I want to say. So over to Mitchell with the question and winners.
Yes, thank you so much, Pooja. It was amazing. Amazing tips and tools. I'm sure we're all going to use them. And the winner in our channel, in our challenge, is Giosley Andretas. I hope I said it right, and I hope you're with us.
Yay!
Yay, definitely. So you really did a great job, and thank you for that. And before we're gonna finish, Pooja, you have a few questions that I saw. Do you want to address them?
Yes. So are they in the Q&A section or somewhere I can take, because there are so many in the chat section, it's hard to find them.
Yeah, that's true, but let's start with the Q&A, so it will be much more organized.
Okay, I am in the Q&A, but I'm not able to see the questions. So could you please help me with the questions?
Yeah, sure. Let's see if you can see it. One sec. Do you see it, Pooja?
Are you posting it in Q&A?
Maybe I can read it for you. What is the tool that is creating diagram report of working, not working features by Marco?
If it was about mind maps, it was Xmind, which is free tool. And then we also use Coggle for more functionalities.
Great. And also another question from Vivek. Does Jira give such mind maps visualization? I guess.
I couldn't follow. Probably if you can type the question again in chat section, maybe just paste the questions. I should be able to see it in Q&A.
Yeah, maybe you can take it from the chat as well, because I see there's a lot.
Separating a UI issue from backend one is crucial. Okay, it's mixed of questions. So maybe if just paste in the chat right now, I can check all of them. Okay, so I got to the question. So the question is from Dinesh: how to deal with production bug? For example, there is a form which tests cannot do sanity testing and found by the stakeholder. File attachment, no read write protection. Okay, so the way I understand this question is Dinesh has a need that there is a production bug and he doesn't have the access to the backend or backend logs or basically front end. So in this case, probably what we do at MoEngage is we actually connect our so we work with our developers, and that is a very much important need. So we integrate them with the production tools like Crash Analytics or any tool which actually gives the, so it totally depends on your application. So we use Neural Lake, we use Sentry, which is recording the production bugs there directly. They come with some free and then some paid. So that's up to you how you want to go about it. Then there's a question that latest tools, how to convey to the management. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting question. How I go about this is basically do a POC in my free time and see my POC should include the difference between the previous and the new. It can be in terms of the more speed, less maintainability, And all the management folks love if you are bringing the speed in your feedback to release faster. So I hope this answers your question. Like, do the POC, and it should give the clear-cut picture of what value you will bring in. Then next question is testing machine learning applications, how the testing process is carried on and what kind of tools can be used. The question came. Machine learning applications. Okay, so I'm not sure about it because I have not got opportunity to test machine learning applications as such, but probably connect with me offline sometime, and I will try to explore. Since it's interesting, I'll try to explore and give you some insights. Then there is a question about Python automation framework for mobile testing. Okay, so I like to always stick with APM. So anything around APM I will build upon. And TestProject also has APM Python binding to use directly. So maybe go about it or direct APM. This question was from Prashant. Next question we have, what should be thought process when we are defining a test framework, considering the aspects of QAOps and DevOps model? Okay, so this is a vague question and it needs detailed discussion. A test project at high level needs some easy way to take your test cases in and then make them run in your machine and distribute it in parallel, give the results cumulative, and finally give the insights from the test. So this is high level, but it needs detailed discussion. So maybe, and again, connect with me. I probably have written some blogs on it and I can share with you. Just try to go on about.me Tech Girl Pooja. You will find my Medium link there, and there are blogs on it already. Then next question is from okay, so this question is I think from Vivek for Metal, I guess, that test project demo got rejected from MD because we are dealing with government data and it can't be stored on cloud. So how can they go about it? So Metal, Karen, any suggestions?
Yeah, I'd love if you can reach out to me directly and we'll contact you just to make sure that everything is, I mean, I'm sure we can help you. So just reach out directly or I'll send you my email here and I'd love to connect and see how can we solve it.
Cool. So next question is, how much of DevOps is needed for automation, from Steven? Okay, so this question also has no limit to say that how much is required, but I would say that, okay, at least know your ecosystem, the application you're testing, your test environment, your production environment, and learn to replicate or create your test environment by yourself, which applications should be connected, understand the VPN, because right now all of us are work from home, and a lot of things changes between and outside and inside the VPN. So if once you start there, and then you will automatically understand what more is there for your project to learn from. So use collaboration with your DevOps and dev team, to basically engineering team, to understand them. That's the key you should look for. Then
Great.
there is a question. Yeah. So I
think we don't have a lot of time, but
okay.
But it was amazing. Thank you so much, Pooja. Maybe just one last question that I just saw, and I think it's important in who will be better than you to answer it. If you can describe the biggest challenge you face in software testing, I think that could be cool just to finish with that in the Q&A section.
Okay, so saying biggest is something tough, but because there are so many challenges which feel big at that time, and once we solve them, it's no more big, and you move to the next challenge. But mostly, if I say that, it would be about testing applications which are asynchronous in nature. For example, an application which makes calls to dependent services separately. typically any SaaS model, they connect to different applications or different APIs in the background, and everything is happening asynchronous. So you don't know at what time, at what point, which API will give the results back. So you don't know while testing as well as while automating, you don't know when to say that it is done and when to say that now record for actual and expected results. So that's something has been very challenging and exciting to solve, that how do we actually break down that problem into pieces and test application which is asynchronous in nature completely. And that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
Sure. I love this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pooja, for this wonderful webinar, really, this and the great presentation. And thank you everyone for joining this event. You will all receive, of course, the recording of the session within a couple of hours, so be patient with us. And for more questions, concern, or clarification, we invite you all to continue the discussion over our forum. I just sent in the chat the link for you. So if there's still any questions, would love to help. I added to the chat. I hope you can see it. Plus, you can also find Pooja's LinkedIn profile and myself. So if you need any assistance, we are here for you, and we're always there. So I guess, Pooja, do you have anything else to say, to maybe to wish to our
Yeah.
attendees?
So I'm like blown away by the responses I'm getting in the chats. So thank you so much for being kind and sticking around. I just want to say and end with the like keep learning and stay humble quote that yeah, keep learning.